Black Friday sales are still going strong until December 7th for two big ones, the two biggest sales that we have this year, the plant-based bundle and our 60% off any or all of our ebooks. Those sales are both going till December 2nd. December 7th, I should say, not the 2nd, the 7th. So you have time to get those. Thank you for joining today. Just wanted to chat a little bit about what's going on and answer any questions. As always, I love to answer your questions. So if you have questions about any of the sales, raw food, if you have questions for me, I'm happy to answer those. So again, in the chat, share whatever is on your mind. If there's any questions that you've been kind of hemming and hawing about, if you want to ask them, please do so. But we've got the bundle going on right now. The plant-based bundle is back. And the coolest thing about this bundle is that you are getting nearly $900 worth of content from Nate and I for $50. And you're not just getting our 12 items, you're getting stuff from other people too. There's 80 downloads in this bundle and all you pay is $50. That's it. The link is in my bio here on Instagram, or if you're watching on YouTube, the link is in the description box. So there's that. Again, $50 gets you access to download 80 things. Now the things that we have in this bundle, let me just pull this up. You pay $50 and you get the sushi book, the wrap book, the taco book, the soup book, Tales from the Tailgate, Smoothie Solution, the Cracker, Nate's Cracker book, Holiday Menu 1, Nate's Microgreens course, our Align and Awaken affirmation meditation course, Make It Raw 4 that I wrote with Chef AJ, and a live lunch. You get all of that for $50 plus everything from everyone else. This is like a crazy deal. So if you've been meaning to grab some of our content, this is an excellent opportunity to do so. Again, link is in my bio. So head on over to the link in my bio here on Instagram. Just click on that little circle up at the top. Or if you're watching on YouTube, the link is in the description box for the plant-based bundle. It ends on December 7th. And if you didn't want to get the bundle, but you still wanted to get some of our stuff, or if you get the bundle and you want to get some other stuff like the burger book or our meal plans or building a healthy relationship with food book, there's some other ebooks that we don't have in the bundle. So you buy the bundle and get those 12 things for $50. And then you can use the 60% off code for our ebooks sold individually on our website. Now that link, in order to get that link, you have to send me a DM, or you can go to payhip.com/rawfoodromance. If you're watching on YouTube, again, link is in the description box below. But if you're here on Instagram, send me a direct message and I will send you the link to our ebook store and the code. The code is rawfood60, and this is gonna get you 60% off our ebooks. So again, even if you didn't want to get the bundle, if you just wanted a couple of our ebooks or you wanted something to complete your collection or anything like that, use code rawfood60 and get 60% off. So a lot of our ebooks are under $10 now. So it's a really, really good deal if you're looking to get more content from us. So again, if you want the link to our ebooks and the code, send me a DM or a link down below if you're on YouTube. And if you want the bundle, click on the link in my bio here on Instagram or down below. We also have some other sales that are going on right now. Osea, my skincare. Actually, I made a video on YouTube right now, or today, and I just released it. It's my entire 3 times a day skincare routine. I don't do this every single day, obviously, due to time or how the day is arranged. But when I do all 3, I have all 3 on my YouTube video. So it's my pre-walk routine, which I do before we go out for our walk or go out for our exercise. Then I have a post-walk routine, which I do after the walk or after the exercise. Because we go walking in the city and I want to get the city off my face because we get home and like I can feel it and I don't like that. I want to get it off. So we do a post-walk routine, cleanse, moisturize, all that. And then I do an evening. So all 3 of those routines are in that video. So if you're interested in learning about my skincare routines, my current ones, it seems to change every year. I like to explore and try new things. But right now, this is the routine that I typically do when I'm doing all three. Or I pick and choose. Maybe I only do an evening routine. Maybe I just do the morning routine. But this is what I do. So the link for YouTube, you can go to YouTube, Lissa's Raw Food Romance, and it will be the newest release to watch that. But Osea, this is one of the main brands that I like to use for my skincare. They have a gifting sale going on right now until December 1st. So today and tomorrow and Monday, basically, that's it to get the gifting sale. If you spend X amount, you get a bunch of free stuff. So go check it out. Again, you'll have to DM me for any of the links that you want. I'm actually gonna post that in the chat here, just so everybody knows. You need to DM me to get the link to all the stuff and the codes and everything, because the only link that we have right now is for the bundle, because it's the biggest sale. I mean, it's $883 worth of our content for $50 inside the bundle. Again, it's the best way to get some of our content, and it's also the best way not only to support us, but to support you in your changes for 2026. Right? We're gonna start off fresh with lots of raw foods. So you can grab the plant-based bundle and get access to all of that. But Osea has their sale. This is the Ocean Cleanser. This is my favorite cleanser. I use that a lot. I also like Eminence. They have a Barbados Cherry Fizzy one that I like, but I talk about that in the YouTube video. So you gotta go check out the YouTube video. Here's the Dream Night Cream. This is a lavender. Oh, it's so good. I love this cream so much. And this here is the Ocean Eyes. I like this one a lot because during the day, it's nice to have that cooling action under the eyes, and they have like little metal ball on it. You just like rub it on under your eyes, and it's really, really nice. But they have so many products that I love. I also use Eminence. Well, Eminence Organics. I really like this product line. I've been using them for over 20 years now. It seems like forever. But these are amazing products. And I have a link to Eminence. You can get them from, in the US, Posh Organics Ashland. That's the spa that I like to go to whenever we go to Oregon. I always book a facial, and I always stock up on some Eminence down there. And I wanted to share, I am trying out a new line right now. It's called Olivita. I'm sure some people have heard of it. Let's see if I can get this in focus here. Olivita, this is the Regeneration Intense face cream. Now, not everything from Olivita is vegan, but most of it is. There's only a few products that have animal products in them. But if you want a list of some of my top picks from Olivita, I can send you a link to my list. I created a list for you, so whatever's on the list, you know, is going to be vegan safe, so you can grab that. This cream is amazing. I actually had to order some. I think today is the last day. Today or tomorrow is the last day to get the 43% off. They have a pretty big sale going on right now. If you spend $200 or more, you get up to 43% off your stuff, which you can save a lot of money. But as you can see, I'm getting low. I really like this. It's kind of like a marshmallow kind of a texture, and it's really thick, so it's really good for drier climates like here in Las Vegas. I really enjoy that. I also enjoy the vitamin C serum. It's kind of like an orangey pink kind of a color, as you can see here. And I like to use this before I go to go on the walk. I like to use this there. And then this is the corrective serum. But again, these, if you want the link to Olivita, send me a DM. If you're watching on YouTube, the link is in the description box below. I also put the link to my vegan friendly list, my top picks, so you can choose from there. There's that. Oh, and then also herbal face food. If you like tingly stuff, this stuff is amazing. This stuff tingles and it heats up. It's very healing. These are so natural that you have to keep them in the fridge. So I have this box that they sent it in that I keep in the fridge because they are that natural. And this here, for example, this is their cream. It stains the skin a little bit just because of the coloring, but it's amazing. These products are awesome. And they are 30% off with code Melissa Maris. Again, if you want the code, the links, send me a DM. I'm more than happy to share that. We have some questions in the chat. Elena says, do you ever do juice cleanses? I'm getting ready to start on Monday. I'm trying to get all the information I can. Any tips? I do not. I don't do any juice cleanses. I used to in my early 20s when I was struggling with my diet, trying to heal and that kind of thing. But when I went raw in 2014, I simply focused on the whole food, not juices, and I didn't do any juice cleanses or any fasting at all. And I went raw in 2014. So I don't do juice fasts or anything like that. I believe in supporting the detox with the whole food, with the fiber intact, eating a lot of vegetables, a lot of greens, a lot of ferments, and not tons of ferments, but just enough. But the small amount of nuts and seeds, herbs, those kinds of things, but the whole food. I'm not into the juice fasting, so I'm not really the greatest person to ask about that. But thank you for asking. Thank you for asking, and I hope you find what you're looking for. But yeah, it's not part of our life. We don't do that. We will have like juice once in a while. We're not anti-juice. We're just not big fans of the juice fasting idea. I'd rather build that foundation to every day do things that support the natural detox process. And it's really important to focus on supporting phase 2 liver detox. So we have 2 phases of detox, and I've got a video coming soon on YouTube, a few videos talking about the different phases of detox, but we have 2 phases of detox. We've got phase 1 and phase 2. Now, phase 1 is where the toxin that we're trying to get rid of is converted into a hyper-reactive form of the molecule. Then we need phase 2 to inactivate that form and make it water soluble so it leaves our body. The problem is not supporting phase 2. If we only do phase 1, where we are, creating all these volatile compounds, and we're not supporting phase 2, then we can't inactivate them and pull them out of the body. So it's very important to support phase 2, which would involve a lot of sulfur-rich foods, onions, garlic, cruciferous, to give your body what it needs to make glutathione, which is one of the main antioxidants that are involved in liver detox phase 2. So more greens, more cruciferous, more vegetables, alliums are really good. Any sulfur-rich foods are going to be amazing for supporting daily detox. When we don't support it, we're going to have symptoms. So if we have symptoms of detox, like headaches, muscle aches, joint pains, those kinds of things, that might be a sign. Not saying it is definitively, but it might be a sign that your phase 2 detox is not being supported. So we should not really feel detox. We do 24/7, but a lot of people who have those detox symptoms is because they're not fully supporting their phase 2 detox. Either that or you're just not eating enough calories, and some of the detox symptoms can be under eating. So yeah. Elena says, I'm in the beginning stages again. I'm about to turn 40 on January 3rd. A month after me, I'm turning 46 on December 3rd. So you're exactly a month after me. So happy birthday, happy early birthday. She's been eating regular vegan and have felt the worst I have in years. Oh my goodness. Well, I hope that you can find what can work for you. I'm always here for anybody, including you. If you want to send me a message and chat about it, we can brainstorm some ideas. We can go over what you've been doing, what might not be working, and just kind of like talk about stuff. That's what I'm here for. That's why I do what I do, is I'm here to help guide people towards different options. So it's really fun to discuss that with people and see where they are and where they could maybe improve or change or try something different, to help them get into a healthier way of life. And if you've been vegan for years and you're not feeling very good, it really depends on what you're eating as a vegan, because there are many ways to follow a vegan diet. There is a lot of junky vegan foods out there. There's a lot of high-fat vegan foods. There's a lot of high-fat raw vegan foods as well. And people tend to get really restrictive when they're trying to cleanse or detox, which has its own problems. So it's important to find like a balance with the whole food. Eating enough is key. If you are not eating enough, then you're probably not going to feel your best either, because you're not feeding your body enough of the nutrition, you're not getting enough calories, you're not getting enough of all different kinds of things if you're under eating. So under eating causes a lot of its own problems. So it's really important to make sure that you're eating enough and that you're eating enough variety as well to give your body a variety, a wide range of nutrients, a wide range of fiber, variety for the microbiome so that the microbiome can grow and get stronger, because the more variety we have in our diet of plants, the stronger our microbiome can become. So that's really important too. Elena says, thank you. I will do that. Happy birthday. Thank you. Yeah, again, what is it, 4 days? It's November 29th. So 29, 30, 1, 2, 3. So my birthday's in 5 days. I don't know what we're doing yet. Like I said, I'm going to be 46. So it's just interesting to move through time, isn't it? It's so interesting to move through time. But we've got the bundle going on right now. So if you wanted to gift yourself something for my birthday, you can grab the bundle and gift yourself 80 downloads. And that includes 12 things from Nate and I. You're getting the wrap book, the soup book, the taco book, the sushi book, Tales from Tailgate, smoothie book, cracker book, holiday menu 1, Nate's microgreens course, my Align and Awaken affirmation course, Make It Raw volume 4 that I wrote Chef AJ, and a live lunch. If you were to buy all of those separately, it would cost you $883. Even with the 60% off code, you still wouldn't be able to get all of that for $50. But you can if you buy the bundle. If you buy the bundle, link in my bio here on Instagram or in the description box below, you get to download all of those. You get access to download all of that stuff. Vegan Gal says, do you still sell your dips and dressings book? I do, actually. So if you want to grab any of our ebooks, so including the ones in the bundle or different ones, if you just wanted to get our ebooks separately, send me a direct message. Just go out of the thing, go to my bio and send me a message and ask for the link and the code, and I will send you the link and the code. If you're watching on YouTube, however, the link is in the description box below. But all of our ebooks, including dips and dressings, we've got the burger book, we have our meal plans, we have a lot of other content that's not in the bundle, but all of our content is 60% off until December 7th with code RAWFOOD60. And again, if you want the link, send me a DM or in the comments below, or you can just go to payhip.com/rawfoodromance. That's where all of our ebooks live. And then just use code RAWFOOD60 at checkout and you'll get that beautiful 60% off. So most of our books are like anywhere from like $6 to, $13, $14. Like they're pretty inexpensive right now. It's a great opportunity if you've been thinking about it or if you need to complete your collection, because we have 28 ebooks. We've got a lot of content out there to help you add more raw food. So yes, Vegan Gal for sure. Payhip.com/rawfoodromance. Use code RAWFOOD60 at checkout and enjoy that discount. Or you can grab the bundle. The Dips and Dressings book is not in the bundle this year, but there are other awesome ebooks, like the sushi book has 160 recipes in there, and 40 of those recipes are dips and sauces for sushi. So there's lots of really cool things in there. There's the real fermented sushi ginger in there. There's I think there's like 60 nori rolls, like options for that. There's toppings and fillings and sprinkles, and there's even side dishes that complement sushi, like the okonomiyaki pancakes, and there's like some salads and some other options. But that's just the sushi book alone. Like we've got so many things in the bundle. It's such an amazing opportunity for people to get a lot of our content for $50. And yeah, so go check it out. If you haven't yet, go see the link in my bio, and that's going to take you to the bundle website. And everything you see on the website, you get to download when you pay the $50. So it's pretty cool. You pay the $50, they send you an email, and you can download any or all of the content, whatever you want from the bundle is yours, but you have a year to download. Once it's downloaded on your device, it's yours forever until you delete the file or whatever. But yeah, you've got a year to download all of that. So please go check out the bundle. Again, if you guys have any questions about raw food, any struggles that you're dealing with, anything you want to know, please share in the comments here in the video, and I will be happy to share my thoughts with you. But again, we have that video that I just released on YouTube this morning of my full skincare routine, because we've got those sales. We've got Osea on sale. We've got the Oliveda. If you're looking for the vegan friendly stuff, send me a DM. I'm happy to share with you. And then of course, this stuff smells so earthy and herbally and delicious. I love, 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 love. But again, this one here, the X serum, this one's spicy. And this one here, it has a little spice to it. But this is just the serum, and you don't need a lot. Like with this one, I use like maybe 3 drops of it. It's pretty intense, but it's awesome. But all of those, that's herbal face food. Those are all 30% off with code Melissa Maris. And again, if you want the link to anything, just send me a DM here on Instagram. I'm happy to share. I'm happy to chat. Oh, and another thing that we have, again, questions, please post questions in the chat. But we also have 30% off our school community, which is where we share a lot of our exclusive content. We've got there's hundreds of recipes in there, and a lot of them are exclusive to the community. Only the community members have access. We also do live raw food classes in there every month, and we're adding an extra class every month called From Fridge to Fork. So it's a bonus class that we're adding for 2026. And that class, we're gonna show you super speedy, easy recipes. So basically, Nate and I are going to choose a recipe that we're gonna have for dinner or lunch, and we're just gonna show how we make it super fast in real time on the show. So one of us is gonna make the recipe, and the other one's gonna answer questions and do the video and stuff. So it's gonna be a really cool class. We've had a lot of requests for just real-time, easy, simple salads, and they wanna watch how we do it to see how easy it is. So we're gonna include that class. Every month we'll have a new class for that in the community. We also do our regular classes, which are like how to make raw food. We've got wrap class, the sushi class, burger class, soup class, and you're able, if you join the community, by the way, again, if you want the link to the community, send me a DM, or if you're on YouTube, link is in the description box below. It's $33 a month right now instead of $47 a month. So it's 30% off. If you sign up now, you lock in $33 a month, and you can stay for as long as you want. If you only want to stay for a month, that's cool, just cancel after a month. If you want to stay for longer, it's totally up to you how long you stay. So you can cancel anytime you want and just live out the remainder of how much you paid for the month. But join the community so that you can get access to watch all the previous replays that we have done over the last year and a bit. That again includes like the wrap class, the burger class, sushi classes. We've got fermentation classes. We have crackers and cheese and gnocchi and lasagna and like all kinds of fun stuff in there. And for December, if you join right now, again, send me a DM and I'll send you the link to our community. It's at school.com. Just search Raw Food Romance as well. You'll find it. If you search raw food on school.com, SKOOL.com, ours is the first community that comes up. So you can join. We have, for the month of December, these are the upcoming classes that you can join if you join the community. So we've got on the 9th at 10 a.m. PST, we have a guest chef. Her name is Danielle from Pacha Vega. Some of you may know her. She's going to be making a recipe, a surprise recipe in that class. And then on the 13th, December 13th, we have a class at 11 a.m. We're going to be making some Christmas classic raw food. We're going to do the cauliflower mash. We're going to do some Christmas flavored marinated lion's mane mushrooms. We're going to be making the avocado lemon tarts, which were a massively big hit with Dr. Rick and Karen Dina when they were here for Thanksgiving. We made them the avocado tarts and they loved them. So we're going to add those to the class as well. And we'll do a couple other Christmassy kind of style recipes on that day. And that's December 13th. Then on December 16th, this is the one a lot of people have been waiting for a long time. So on December 16th at 10 a.m. PST, if you are a member of the community, you can join in our live class on how to make unpasteurized tempeh. We're doing black bean tempeh. Now, just to let people know, this is a living food, which is different than raw. The beans are cooked first, but they're fermented and they become a living, enzymatically and microbially active food. So they're considered a living food, not necessarily a raw food, but they're a living food. And Nate and I are raw and living food vegans. So we do eat living foods, and we want to show how we make our own unpasteurized tempeh, because all the tempeh that you buy at the store has all been pasteurized to stop the spoilage of the tempeh, right? And then it's usually vacuum sealed for freshness and stuff like that. But when you make your own unpasteurized tempeh, you got to eat it within 3 or 4 days. And it's enzymatically, like I said, it's enzymatically active. The nutrients are more bioavailable. There's other things that are created in the fermentation process which are healthy for us. So we want to teach our fermented tempeh class in the community on December 16th. And then on December 18th, we're going to do the tempeh reveal. We're going to show what it looks like after it's been fermenting for 48 hours. And we're going to make some tempeh burgers on the show. So that's going to happen. And then on January 3rd, if you stick around in the community for another month, January 3rd, we have our okonomiyaki pancake class. We're going to be making the traditional savory Japanese pancakes with 2 sauces, the Kewpie mayo and the katsu sauce. We're going to make those. And then at 4:30 p.m. PST on January 6th, we're going to do our first From Fridge to Fork video. We've got our Zoom hangout session where we're going to go over microbiome, and I'm going to share my microbiome in depth, so you'll be able to check it out. And I'm going to share a bunch of stuff about my microbiome. On the 17th, we're going to be making Chef AJ's Buried Treasures. It's a dessert recipe. And on the 27th, we're doing an all-day meal prep, and that's January 27th at 7 a.m. PST. We're going to be doing all-day meal prep for 2 people. That's smoothies, lunch salads, and dinner salads for the whole day. So we're going to be doing that. And then who knows what's coming in February. We're going to add the schedule every month. But that's what's coming in the community, and you get access to all of that, plus all the replays, plus the monthly challenges, plus all the recipes, plus the connection. You know, you get to connect with people. You can post posts in there, like pictures of your food. You can join in. There's daily posts that go out every single day in the community for you to read. There's little activities for you to do. Like right now, we're finishing up November. The November challenge was eye health. So every day we had a new eye exercise, and you can always review those. Go back and review those posts if you want to do the challenge on your own. But yeah, the community is an amazing collection of people, and we are most active in the community. So if you really want some more attention or one-on-one stuff, you want to post, you want to get other people to help you and support you in there as well, it's an amazing place. And again, it's 33% off. This sale for the community ends on New Year's Eve, so you have time to join, but you're going to want to join early so you can start consuming the content, get inspired. And again, $33 a month. Lock that in by joining now. If you need the link, send me a DM, or if you're watching on YouTube, the link is down below. But yeah, get the bundle. It's an amazing collection this year, especially from Nate and I, because we've contributed 12 things to this bundle. I think that's the most we've ever contributed to the plant-based bundle. The value is almost $900. Just our Align and Awaken Affirmation Meditation Challenge is $197 regular price, but you get it as well for the $50 for the bundle. But link is in my bio here on Instagram or in the description box below. And please share some questions if you have any questions. Again, I'm more than happy to answer or share my thoughts. If you're struggling with raw food, if you've had issues in the past, if you have any questions about how we do raw food, feel free. I'll be sticking around for a little bit more time. But if we don't get any questions, then I can sign off. But I'm here to help and answer. If you didn't want to ask in the chat, you can send me a DM. More than happy to explore your struggle with you and offer some ideas or tips or anything like that. Like I said earlier, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help offer different ideas, different ways of looking at things, inspiration, motivation, all that fun stuff. So please post a question in the chat if you have one. I've been also hanging out a lot on Substack, which is a new thing for me. This is a creative writing platform. And we did a post a while ago about the myth of motivation, how we tend to think that we need motivation to do the things, but motivation comes and goes. Some days you have it, some days you don't. Most days you don't, right? We don't always have motivation, so it's not reliable. Motivation is not a reliable way of getting our habits done. Action is. Action is how you're going to get the things done. Just by doing the thing, even if you don't want to, even if you don't have the motivation. Because the motivation follows action. So I'll give you an example. There are plenty of nights where Nate and I don't feel like making wraps or dinner or anything like that, because we're human, just like anyone else. We're like, I don't really want to. I want to get up and do it and blah, blah, blah. Or we're in a flow and we just don't want to. But what we do is, instead of looking for the motivation, be like, why am I not motivated to do this? Why do I not want to? Like, we're always focused on why we can't. Instead, we shift into action and we say, I'm excited to get the wraps done because my future self is going to be so happy that I did that. And then we just get up and go do the thing. Because if we get up and do the thing, once we get into the kitchen, we open the fridge, we grab the cutting board, we start pulling out the ingredients, motivation tends to, not always, but most of the time, it tends to follow the action. So all you have to do is boil down your action to the smallest possible thing that you could do. For example, if you're making the wraps or making a salad or whatever it is, all you need to focus on is getting up and going in the kitchen. That's the very first step. And if that's the easiest, most simple step that gets you to get in the kitchen, then focus on as small as possible. The smaller the steps on the ladder, the easier it is to climb the ladder, because you gain momentum from those small steps. So start slow and do that. Once you get into the kitchen, what's the next step? Grab the cutting board and the knife. That's all you have to focus on, is just grabbing the cutting board and the knife. After that, start pulling the ingredients out of the fridge, or pull up the recipe and go line by line. Oh, I need apples, so pull the apples out. Oh, I need some onions. Pull the onions out. Whatever it is, go slow and do one thing at a time, and that can actually stimulate motivation to continue and to finish the task. And before you know it, you're done and you're like, that's so great. I'm so glad that I did that. So yeah, that again on Substack, if you're familiar with Substack, I am on Substack. You can send me a DM if you want the link to my Substack. It's going to be kind of like articles, creative writing, some thoughts on habit building and procrastination and raw food in general too. So come to my Substack. I'd love to see you over there. Deflower says, any tips for people with IBS that is considering doing raw? Love the path you guys are following and really love the healing benefits going this route. Thank you for that question. I had a lot of IBS symptoms. I wasn't diagnosed with IBS, but I'm pretty sure I had some form of it. I had diarrhea and constipation back and forth, which is a classic sign. I had severe gut dysbiosis problems, severe gas and bloating, a lot of pain, like almost like twisted colon pain. And I had a lot of reactions, a lot of skin issues, and imbalanced hormones, a lot of problems stemming from my gut. So I hear you. It's really challenging when you have a lot of gut problems. What I would suggest, and what I did, was trust the food. You can start simply or start slowly with foods that feel good for your body, and then slowly incorporate other foods that might not be as ideal. It's in the dose. And just like going to the gym, if you go to the gym and you haven't gone to the gym for months and you start lifting those 50-pound weights and you're overdoing it, you're gonna feel really sore after. Whereas if you start slow with the 10 pounds, something that is manageable but still challenges your muscles, after a little bit of time, you can increase the weight. As your muscles get stronger, the weight increases. Same goes for the microbiome. As your microbiome gets stronger, by giving it those fibers in smaller doses, you can handle more and different varieties. And you basically build on that, just like in the gym. Building muscles is very similar to building our microbiome. So this is what I would do if I was I went raw overnight. I went all in. I gave up alcohol, I gave up coffee, I gave up animal products, I gave up cooked food, all overnight. So I know that's not as doable for a lot of people. That's what I did, even though I had IBS symptoms and it was uncomfortable a little bit. I had gas and bloating, but I trusted the process, and I trusted that, you know, I was strength training my gut with fiber and fiber variety. So I just pulled through, and over the years, my gut just got stronger and stronger and stronger. Right now, my microbiome test scores show over almost like around 96% out of 100 as the total overall score. That's like the nutrients that the microbiome produces, that's the microbiome diversity, that's, you know, it's a lot of factors that play into the percentage number. But like Nate and I, we have tested, our last test was 96%. Now Nate, he's going to share this in a video, so it's not my story to share, but his microbiome was greatly affected by his hospital stay and his dental problems that he had, because the dentist, when they were trying to fix an old filling that he's had since he was a kid, they were trying to fix this filling, they cracked the tooth down to the root, and bacteria got into his root and caused an abscess, which eventually he had to go to the hospital and get it drained, and he had surgery and all this stuff. But he had to be on antibiotics, otherwise, you know, he could go septic, which could lead to death. So he was on antibiotics, and that really changed his microbiome. But again, he's going to share more details about that in a YouTube video at some point. So I'll let him share that. But in order to rebuild his gut, the focus is on fiber variety. Eating whole fiber options, lots of greens, lots of vegetables, sprouts, microgreens. Yes, the fruit is amazing too. Small amount of nuts and seeds, herbs and spices, that kind of thing can really help to heal the gut and to grow the microbiome. The whole fiber is key, especially things that are really high in inulin, onions, garlic, chicory family foods, things like sunchokes, jicama, what else is high in inulin? Onions. Those are really great options. So yeah, I hope that helps answer your question. If you have further questions, please post in the chat. We have another question. Hey Lissa, do you know if there is a way of making real raw miso with sprouted beans or any other starchy base the koji can grow on? Thanks in advance for your amazing ideas. So miso is a very intensive process. We've looked into making our own miso, but it's like a months long process for the fermentation, and it's really hard to get the koji in some areas. So that, I don't think miso is something that we would be interested in making ourselves. We do like to purchase local misos and stuff like that to support those who are doing it. But for us, I don't think that we will adventure into making miso. Now, I don't want to say that we never will. We might one day choose to do that, but it's a little bit more of an intricate process, and yeah, we would have to do a lot more research and figure that out. When it comes to the beans, using sprouted beans, especially for the tempeh or for anything like the miso, the sprouted beans don't work as well, if at all. The reason being is that the beans need to be really soft for the mycelium or the bacteria to attach and hold on to it. Also, sprouted beans are already starting to spoil once they're ready. So if you have them in a fermentation area, they're going to attract other bacteria and spoil a lot faster. So it's not ideal to make tempeh with sprouted beans. It just doesn't work the same, and you're risking bad bacteria and spoilage in using those. So by cooking the beans, I know, like lots of raw foodies are like, no, tempeh. If you don't want to do tempeh, that's totally cool. But we do living foods along with our raw vegan diet. So we're totally cool with that because of the fact that they're made alive. Like there's a lot of enzymatic life activity that's happening in the ferments. So when you cook the beans, number one, you soften them so that the mycelium can grab hold, but you're also sterilizing them. So you don't have some strange, crazy, interesting molds or bacteria that are involved in the fermentation, which can ruin your batch of tempeh more often than not. So it's not recommended to use sprouted beans to make like raw tempeh. Some of the times it's not even going to attach and grow. The mold just doesn't have the environment that it wants and the actual material that it needs to grow and thrive on there. So yeah, the sprouted beans just sadly don't work, but it's still, like I said, it's still considered a living food because the mycelium makes it into a living food. And also it's so much easier to digest the material, like the beans or whatever, than eating them either just straight cooked or even sprouted. Sometimes the material is more digestible. There's more bioavailability of the nutrients. So having a mix of sprouts and microgreens and living food ferments from cooked beans can be really good as well. Another thing to note is a lot of the beans that cannot be sprouted can be made into tempeh. For example, you can sprout black beans, but it's not ideal to eat a huge amount of them. They're not like the best to eat a lot of them. You could just do like maybe a couple tablespoons in your meal, but fermented, you can eat a lot more of them. So it's a little bit safer to choose that option. But again, there's a lot of beans that don't necessarily work sprouted, but you could do fermented. And there's lots of beans too. Somebody messaged me about a company called Rancho Gordo, and they have heirloom beans, like lots of different kinds. There's like pink beans and some like midnight black beans and Jacob's cattle beans, like some colorful beans and different, like they're all heirloom beans. So there's like some options there to check them out. But yeah, I hope that answers the question. I have heard people try doing it with sprouted items, but it's a lot harder. The taste is definitely going to be very different if you're using sprouted beans for your miso or your tempeh, and they don't always turn out because the mold or the microbes just don't have, the proper environment to thrive. And they do when they're cooked. They have to be warm as well through the bean, and sprouts just aren't that. So once you cook them, you take them out of the Instant Pot or whatever. We cook for like 8 minutes, and then we soak overnight. So first we soak the beans, and then we cook them in the Instant Pot, and then we put them on a tray, spray them with a little apple cider vinegar because they need an acidic environment, and then we put the starter on top and mix them, and then put them in little bags or banana leaves. And then we ferment them at 85 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit for about 48 hours. And then we have our tempeh bricks, which are really cool to add to a raw vegan diet if you want. Again, you don't have to. You don't have to eat ferments if you don't want to. We personally love them, so we eat them. But yeah, again, hope that answers the question. If you have any others, I'm here. You know what to do. Post in the chat below. Or go check out the bundle that is running right now. $50 gets you almost $900 from us. The total value of the bundle, if you were to buy all 80 things separately, you would pay over $3,200 for everything. But you're paying $50 and that's it. You just pay $50 and you get a link to access and download anything you want from the bundle. You can download it all, or you can download a couple things. It's your prerogative. You can have whatever you like from the bundle. It just gives you access to be able to download all that content. Chef Babette has something in there. Brian Turner has stuff in there. Chef AJ has her Christmas stuff. Raw Chef Yin has her Christmas showstoppers recipes with the beet Wellington. Nate and I made that. It was so good. It is so good. Her recipes are really cool. She's also has her Chinese takeout course, which is raw vegan Chinese takeout. That course alone is worth the entire bundle. So like, go grab the bundle. The link is in my bio here on Instagram or in the description box if you're watching on YouTube. It's an amazing collection of stuff. And like I said, Nate and I have contributed almost $900 worth of stuff. If you were to buy all our stuff separately, even with the 60% discount, I don't even know how much that would be. It's $883. So 50% would be $443. 60% would probably be just over $300. You would not get all that content, even with our 60% off code, for $50. So go check it out. Link is in my bio. Ask some questions in the chat if you want me to stay on and chat with you more. Please ask some questions about raw food or any of your struggles or thoughts that you might have. If you have questions for me, questions about the skincare, we've got Olavita. This is a new line that I'm trying. Again, not everything is vegan in this line, but I do have a list of all the vegan products that I think are awesome. So if you want that list, send me a direct message and I'll get you that list. These, I believe, are 43% off. If you spend more than $200, you get up to 43% off most products. I think that ends on, let me just see, I'm on the website here. I think it ends on the 1st. I don't see it here, but I believe it ends on Cyber Monday. Most of the sales end on Cyber Monday. But we also have 60% off our ebooks. So if you didn't want the bundle, but you wanted to get our ebooks, now is the time. We usually always have 40% off ongoing, but right now it's 60% off. So most of our ebooks are around anywhere from $6 to like $14, which is an amazing deal. So the code is rawfood60, and if you want the link, it's payhip.com/rawfoodromance, or send me a DM. I'd be happy to send you the link if you just want to have something to tap on. But if you're watching on YouTube, all the links to all the stuff, all of the skincare, all the sales, all the stuff is all down below. So head on down there. We have a comment here, says, thank you. You are a well of knowledge. Thank you so much. It's been a long time. Like I said, I'm going to be 46 on December 3rd. So it's coming up in 5 days. And I have been in the natural health industry since I was 19. Not in the industry itself, but when I was 19, so what is that, 26 years ago? I started learning about health because the reason I did was I had gained a lot of weight in my late teens, and I was feeling sluggish, and I had lots of cystic acne. I was having problems. So my mom took me to her naturopathic doctor. Her naturopathic doctor did like the assessment and all this stuff and discovered that I had candida overgrowth. So I had severe gut dysbiosis. I had extreme pain eating pretty much anything. So I would default to junk food because, you know, it was so low in fiber that I wasn't stimulating my gut a lot at all. I would still get gas and bloating and pain, but it wasn't the same. So I was eating a lot of junk food. I would try to eat healthy, but I was challenged in that. So I was struggling a lot. I had candida overgrowth. I had hormonal imbalances, and I was 19. I was overweight and feeling crappy. So I went to the naturopath, and that's when I started learning about natural health. Obviously, I wasn't learning a lot of the stuff that I know now. I was learning a lot of, you know, the standard parrot advice that most people are given, even in the wellness industry. Some stuff like fruit fears, you need all this fat, it's so healthy, and a lot of stuff that I believed for a long time, I no longer believe. So in 2004, that's when I discovered about the raw food diet. I was 24 years old, and I was working in a natural health industry. I was working at a health food store. It was like a grocery store, kind of like Whole Foods a little bit. I was all kinds of things in the store. I was the cashier. I was a supplement person. Like, I helped choose supplements for people. I helped in produce. I helped in grocery. I kind of did a little bit of everything when I worked at that store. I was 24, and I was learning a lot about nutrition, and I was taking my nutritional consulting schooling, and I was just absorbing any information that I could possibly get by being there. I was eating a lot of organic, but I was still eating a lot of the things that I don't eat anymore. Like if it was organic, even organic French fries, I thought it was good for me. I thought organic animal products were better for me, grass-fed and all this stuff. I was stuck in that mindset. But I learned about raw food. And the first time I heard about it, we got a book called Raw, the Uncooked book by Giuliano. That was one of my first introductions to it. And I was like, oh, raw food sounds so interesting. I made a couple recipes from there. And then there was the Sun Food Diet Success System by David Wolfe. I read that, but that was like a very high fat version, promoted a lot of fats, fruit fears and stuff like that. But I resonated with it a lot. It made sense for real food. So, I play with it, and for the next 10 years, from 2004 to 2014, I tried raw like hundreds of times. I would only do it for like 3 days, maybe a week. I think the longest I went was about 2 months on raw, but I was always eating too high fat, and I was not eating enough calories because I was indoctrinated to believe that we needed to eat less to lose weight. We needed to eat less to live longer. We needed to eat less to be perfect and pure and have better digestion and all this stuff. So I was eating less, but I was also eating the wrong combination of food. I was eating way too high fat, not very much fruit, hardly any greens and vegetables. I was so focused on the fats, and I would only last a couple days, if that. I would succumb to family things and friends and all that kind of stuff. It was just it didn't work. So I would go back to eating animal products and junk food. I wasn't vegan at any time during those 10 years, but in 2014, I was having heart flutters. I was severely overweight, I was 70 pounds overweight. I still had that cystic acne. I had very, very bad gut dysbiosis, imbalanced hormones, severe joint pain. I was only 34 and I was struggling hardcore with everything. And these heart flutters would keep me up in the middle of the night most nights. I dreaded going to sleep because I knew at around 2 or 3 in the morning I was going to get these heart flutters because I was living on energy drinks and drinking a lot of coffee, and it was causing my heart to scream at me, basically. And I would wake up feeling and thinking like, is this what it feels like to have a heart attack? And then I wouldn't be able to get back to sleep because I'd be thinking about dying, and it just was horrible. So one day in 2014, I decided to go raw again, but I was like, how come I can't stick to it? What is it that isn't helping me to stick to it? So I started watching videos, and I started learning about low-fat version and high fruits and high vegetables. Not putting fruit on a pedestal, but equal value as vegetables. So I started learning about the low fat, and I was like, this makes a lot of sense. Even though I was taught completely differently for the majority of my life, I was like, I'm going to try this. And I quickly learned that I needed to eat way more calories because I needed to get enough to satiate and to nourish myself. So I had to overcome my fear of eating more. And with time, it was like so easy. I'm like, this is amazing. And now it's been over 11 years and still doing it, still going strong and loving it and healthy. We have another question in the chat. They're asking, how do you feel about eating a fatty meal during the day? The lunch salad, for example, with 1 avocado and any omega-3 rich thing on top. 1 avocado is too much for a whole day's worth of fats, even if you're having it for dinner or what have you. I would recommend, if you're gonna have avocado, have half of a small one or a quarter of a big one. That's really all the amount of avocado that you need. And then yes, balance it out with chia or flax for your omega-3s. Walnuts and hemp, they have omega-3s in them, but they're not as high as chia and flax. They do have some. They're much better options than, say, cashews or almonds, even though cashews and almonds are still healthy in their own way. If you're focused on adding more omega-3s, chia and flax are going to be your top 2 choices, and then hemp would probably be your 3rd choice, followed by walnuts. Those are the 4 best choices for the omega-3. But when you're coming to avocado, it's very easy to eat too much fat for the overall percentage. Now, you could do that in the day. What I like to do personally is I like to have my chia and my omega-3s in my lunch salad, and then I save the fats for dinner. And I wish I had a shot glass here. I mean, could definitely use like a little, here, this is a good shot glass size. That's about how many nuts or seeds I put in our evening dressing for one person. So if it's 2 people, I put, for Nate and I, we usually do about a 1/4 cup worth of nuts or seeds, or avocado. We don't usually do both. If we're doing avocado, we're doing avocado. If we're doing nuts or seeds, we just do nuts or seeds. We do have sometimes combined the 2, but usually it's just like a drizzle on a wrap with avocado in the wrap. So we're not like overdoing the amount of fats, but we rarely do avocado with a fatty dressing on top. If it's avocado, we do something like a French dressing with chia seeds in it. But we avoid combining the really high fat things together. But if you're gonna have avocado, we do that with dinner usually, and then the lunch salad we do with our chia seeds. Now, if you wanted to have a little avocado with your lunch salad, it's your prerogative, but if you're trying to stay low fat, usually just one meal, whether it's lunch or dinner, is gonna have the fats, and the other one is gonna be very low fat. So like a date-based dressing, again, with chia seeds in it, it's totally cool. I think chia seeds are one of those like really low fat options because chia seeds are mostly fiber. They do have the fats, and they're the omega-3 fats, so they don't really affect the fat percentage the same way as, say, adding cashews or avocado or almonds or peanuts or whatever. They're not really going to be like a huge player in the fat percentage, so I don't mind adding them to like lunch or adding them to dinner with an avocado or adding them to a cashew-based dressing just to balance out those omega-3s. But yeah, one of the 2 meals is gonna have the fat, whether it's lunch or dinner. I personally prefer the fat at dinner time when it's more grounding, more calming. You end of the day, you've got like this like nice fatty cozy meal. Not fatty, but you know what I mean? Like it's an appropriate amount of fats. You got your creamy dressing at the end of the day. I find that if I do eat the fat at lunch, I tend to be a little more tired throughout the day just because the fats are so grounding, and I do much better on the low fat stuff during the day because I have way more energy to take me through into the evening. So, but that's just what I do. Again, there's so many different ways to do raw. I think that the main goals when you are following a raw vegan diet, the main goals would be, number 1, to eat enough calories. Eat enough calories. It is so important. Don't undereat, don't skip your meals. Try your best to eat more calories. Eat enough for your BMR plus your activity. So activity can be anywhere from 500 to over 1,000 calories above your BMR. Because if you don't eat enough, your body's gonna eat itself. It's gonna break down not only your fat, but your muscle mass, which we don't want to do. So when you eat enough, your body doesn't have to break itself down to compensate for what you're not eating. Eating enough also gives you a lot of the nutrition that you need. If you're under-eating, you're also under-eating protein, you're under-eating fiber, you're under-eating vitamin C, you're under-eating all of the stuff. If you're under-eating, you're just not getting enough in. So if you wanna get enough nutrition, you gotta eat enough. So number 1 is eating enough. Number 2 is eating variety. Add more variety. Lots of different kinds of fruit, lots of different kinds of vegetables, greens, sprouts, microgreens, explore herbs and spices. Add more variety to your diet because the more variety you have, the broader your nutrition intake is going to be and the more fiber variety you have for your microbiome. So eat enough, eat variety, and focus on low fat. Like try to keep your fat on the lower end, anywhere from between 8 and 15% is a pretty good ballpark. If you end up being like 20%, if you're an athlete or you have a child who's growing or an elderly person, sometimes they can get away with up to about 20% fats, but that's all in the low fat range, right? Aiming for around 10%, maybe 15% total calories coming from fats, which roughly is around 25 to 35 grams of fat if you're following an over 2,000 calorie a day diet. So that's what I would suggest. But great question. Thank you for asking that. And again, if anyone has any other questions, please. I love talking about all of this stuff. It's my passion. It's what I love doing most in the world. It's what I would do on my day off, which today is my day off. But it's never a day off when I'm helping people. So I'm here to help you. If you have any questions, send me DMs. If you appreciate the content that we share and you've learned stuff from us, if you want to support us, a great way to do so is to go grab the bundle, because you're not only supporting us, but you're supporting yourself too by getting a lot of plant-based content that can help you add more raw foods or plant foods to your life. So grab the bundle. It's only $50 and you're getting over $3,200 worth of downloads, including almost $900 from Nate and I for $50. Link is in my bio or in the description box below if you're watching on YouTube. You can always, on Instagram here, send me a DM if you want to get links to all the stuff. More questions here. What made me think is the fact that the digestion is at its highest power along with the daylight, which means that actually it's supposed to be the best to eat the harder to digest food at noontime. And if you feel that that's what works for you, then definitely try it. Give it a try. Try doing the fattier meal at lunch. Try maybe for a week with a lighter fat dressing at dinner time, or try it first, opposite, and see how your body works better. We tend to feel better with the fattier meal at night, but we also eat about 3 hours before we go to bed. We're not eating right before bed. So, the watery fats like avocados, they digest pretty fast. They're not we're not talking about eating a high fat meal. We're talking about eating an appropriate amount of fat in the meal. So because it's raw food, it's very hydrating, it's very high fiber. Even the little bit of the fats in the meal, it's still very easy to digest. And again, we eat anywhere between 5 and 6 p.m. and we go to bed at 9. So, there's at least 3 hours after we've eaten. So our body has had time to digest and we feel so much better. But during the day, I feel like I don't have as much energy during the day if I have fats with my lunch. So, but again, everyone is different. Some people react to it differently. So experiment on yourself. There are no hard and fast rules to a raw diet. It's really about working with your body and what works best for you. It's physically impossible for me to eat and just have half the avocado. That's another benefit to having a partner or even another family member in the house, where you can give them the other half of the avocado. So that way you both get some. I know it's really hard because avocados are really good, but at the same time, it's more ideal. And I still want to enjoy the avocado, but I also want to enjoy how I feel as well. So I compromise and just have half. But another thing to do to save half is we have like a plate and we'll drizzle a little bit of lemon juice on the plate and then put the avocado on top with the cut side on the lemon juice so it stays nice and fresh. And then we just put that in the fridge and save it for the next day. It also saves money because you're not eating the whole avocado, which can get expensive. Early afternoon, while it should be lighter towards the ending of the day. You recently mentioned that you should start eating very early in the morning. Do you eat very early in the morning? Yes, that's a big one, especially for women. This is huge. I feel like women are kind of cast aside because a lot of the research and a lot of the the biohacking stuff is targeted towards men who have a very different metabolism than women. Women, when they're skipping breakfast, there are some outliers out there who claim it's amazing, but for the most part, most women do not do good by eating later in the day, starting their day later in the day. Most women do better when they start eating earlier. Plus, if you're on a raw diet, it is very, very, very hard to get the amount of calories in you need before the 3 hours before bed ending, right? If you're trying to get all your calories in before 6 p.m., you gotta start eating earlier. Because raw food is so low in calorie density, you have to eat a bigger volume and it fills you up faster. So you feel full, but you haven't had as many calories, so you have to eat again another couple hours later. And it's okay to eat more often throughout the day because the food digests so fast and you need to get those calories in. So what we like to do is first thing in the morning, Nate we'll grab some fruit. Sometimes he'll cut them up into a bowl. Sometimes we just stand around the counter and eat. But I'll do my skincare routine in the morning as soon as we get up, and I'll drink water while I'm doing my skincare routine. And then we go for we eat the fruit first thing in the morning. So usually around 300 to 400 calories, which is like 3 to 4 bananas, or a couple of apples and some berries or some grapes or whatever. We try to get around 300 or 400 calories worth of fruit first thing in the morning. Then we go for our walk or our workout or what have you. And then we come back around 9 o'clock. So we eat the fruit like at 6 or earlier, like 5:45 or 6 o'clock, and then we go for our walk. We get back, we shower, we blah, blah, blah. And then we have our smoothie around 9 or 9:30. And the smoothie is usually around 600 to sometimes 800 calories each. So before noon, we have consumed about 1,000 calories. If we started eating at noon, how are we going to get all of that extra calories in? Because we fill up so fast on raw food. So we'll have like a 500 or 600 calorie lunch and a 500 or 600 calorie dinner. So over the course of the day, from 6 a.m. to about 6 p.m., so around 12 hours, we've eaten around 2,400 calories. But the smaller the window, the less time you have to get those calories in. And on raw food, it's just so challenging because we can only fit around 500, maybe 700 calories in our stomach physically of calories of raw food because it is so water rich and so fiber rich. It's easy to eat 2,000 calories of dense foods like burgers and animal products and fats and processed food, because a dried food like potato chips and bread and things like that, it's easy to get that many calories in because the food takes up less space. So you need more of it to fill you up. That's why you can eat 2,000 calories and, not feel as full. Whereas with raw food, you're eating a massive salad with like a light dressing, a fruit-based dressing, and maybe get like 500 or 600 calories, and you're stuffed. You're like, I am so full, because you fit all that water and fiber into the body, and it actually like physically fills your stomach. So your stomach stretches, and you get the stretch receptor that says, I'm full, don't put any more in. But with dense foods, you just have to keep like oils. You got to eat like a lot of oil to get that stretch receptor, to get that signal that you're full. So yeah, you do need to eat earlier, in my opinion. I feel way better on the days when I eat earlier because I get enough calories in for the day and I have way more energy through the day. So we have our dinner meal usually has our fats in it because that's like our end of the day enjoyment of that. So hope that answers. Thank you for asking. And if you have any other questions, please post in the chat. Kids Vitality Club says, absolutely love your recipes. I'd love to take some of your classes. I would love for you to take some of our classes. And in order to enjoy our live raw food classes, just join up the school community, skool.com, search Raw Food Romance, and that's the community. You can also send me a DM if you want a direct link. But the school community is where we do our live raw food classes, and we do multiple classes every month. And the coolest part is that if you join the community, you get access to watch all the previous replays. So there's like over 80 hours worth of videos in the school community showing how we make raw food. But if you want to join the lives, join the community so you can enjoy those lives, join us live and ask questions and watch us make the food live. The school community is right now 30% off. If you join now before the end of the year, December 31st, you lock in $33 a month. The regular price is $47 a month, but right now it's $33 a month. That's all you pay for as long as you're in the community. So you can join, watch the lives, watch the replays, read the daily posts. We have a daily post. Like I write a huge daily post every day. It takes me like an hour or two to write these every single day, and I do it in the community. So if you want access to all of that, join the community. Again, send me a direct message. I'll get you the link, or just go to skool.com, skool.com, and search Raw Food Romance, and the community will show up, and you can join it and enjoy all the good stuff that we have for you in there. Good tip with the lemon juice. Thanks for the avocado. Yes, the lemon juice on the plate. Tip that avocado on top, and it'll be really nice and green when you get to it the next day. That'll help keep your fat percentage on the lower end. We have another question here. Do you think that about combining fruits with fats, like coconut flakes, peanut butter? That's a great question. So Nate and I don't follow food combining rules except fruit and high fat. Now, we will put fruit in a salad with a cashew dressing because the salad itself is very high fiber. There's a lot of variety going on in there. The fat is lower. If we put berries in there or orange slices or apple slices, it doesn't really interfere with the insulin the same way as it would if you ate something that was very high fat and sugar. Now, that said, we do not avoid it completely. We do that sometimes. Like, for example, the avocado tarts. The avocado tarts are avocado and maple syrup. These aren't like the greatest food combining, but they don't feel horrible in our bodies. We actually enjoy them. So you really have to listen to your own body. Food combining rules are really there for people who have compromised guts as a starting point to adding more variety and more combos. Nate and I can do any combo of anything pretty much. Like, I can do watermelon and berries. I can put fruit in my salads. I can eat fruit with savory things. I can combine all kinds of stuff. I can put 25 things in my salad. I don't get a reaction from it because I've built my gut to a level where my microbiome is so strong that I can eat pretty much anything in any combination and I don't have a reaction. But if somebody does have a reaction, that's a rule for them for the moment. As they build their gut, they can move out of that kind of, like, I don't want to say restrictive, but it is kind of like your food elimination. You're seeing what works and what doesn't and stuff like that. So start slow, start with where you're at, and slowly with time, like, experiment with different combinations as your gut grows. You might be surprised at the different combinations that you can enjoy. Peanut butter also is really high in omega-6. Like, there's almost no omega-3s in peanuts. So it's not like the most ideal option anyways for health. Like, we do use peanuts, but it's like a few times a year. And it's just for the flavor of like a peanut satay or a peanut dressing for sushi. But again, it's very rare that we use peanuts simply because the omega-6 ratio is way too high. And it's so easy to overeat. So we keep it, you know, as a small ingredient a few times a year. But we don't, again, we're not like, we don't want to fully eliminate everything and be like super restrictive or anything like that. We know what works with our body and we work with that. So interesting with how many possibilities we have to make the raw food diet real. Exactly. You know, you got to work with yourself and you got to build from there and not stay in like a dogmatic box. Right? You want to explore little things like try this, try some ferments, try some this, try some living foods, try food combining these things together. Try the fats earlier in the day or the fats later in the day. Try different percentages of fats and see what works with you at the moment. And as your gut changes, as your tastes change, as the seasons change, as food availability changes, everything's going to change within the raw food. But again, the goals are eat enough, eat variety, and try to strive to remain lower fat. Now, when you eat those fats is up to you, right? I am transitioning, currently need having a phase of detox, staying off fat, yet I felt so good with flax oil. So we don't do oils at all, not even flax oil. We prefer to eat the whole seed because you're getting the fiber, you're getting a lot of other stuff in the whole seed that you're not getting in the oil. And the oil is very high fat, which can, you know, cause insulin resistance eventually if you eat too much of it. But when you said a phase of detox, now with the detox, as I mentioned earlier in this video, if you are feeling detox, it's usually, for the most part, there's usually two main reasons. Now, it could be many reasons. It could actually be detox symptoms, but mostly it's probably because you're not supporting your phase 2 liver detox, which requires glutathione, which you get from sulfur-rich foods like onions, garlic, broccoli, cauliflower, other cruciferous veggies, lots of greens, lots of fiber. These things are going to support daily detox so you don't feel the detox symptoms. You're not technically, in my opinion anyways, you're not supposed to feel detox. If you feel detox, you're not fully supporting your phase 2 detox. So adding more greens, more cruciferous, more onion, those kinds of things can really help. So there's that. But yeah, there's definitely different ways of doing it, and listen to your body. If you're feeling off, then it could be many reasons. And a lot of people I've found tend to brush symptoms under the rug with the word detox. They're like, oh, well, I have a headache. It's detox. Or I have muscle pains. It's detox. Like, a lot of people just brush it under the rug instead of actually asking, like, why do I have the headache? Instead of defaulting to detox, why do you have the headache? Did you skip meals? Are you not eating enough? Are you tired? Did you not get enough sleep? Are you stressed out? Were you on your screens too much? Did you not drink enough water? That's a big one too that can cause headaches. There are a lot of reasons why somebody might, and especially when you're changing over and you're transitioning to a raw diet, sometimes that transition comes with under eating because you're used to eating a specific kind of food. When you move over to raw, it's really easy to under eat. That's the number one challenge that most people have when they go raw, is they are not eating enough. And we're talking like, you got to eat a lot. Nate and I will eat an entire head of romaine lettuce in our lunch salad, plus tomatoes and a whole cucumber, not quarter of a cucumber, a whole cucumber with a whole bell pepper. And we use like 5 or 6 dates in our dressing. Like, we eat a huge volume of food because we understand that if we undereat, it's not just calories and energy, but our detox pathways aren't fully supported. We're not getting enough overall nutrition, and of course, again, like the calories, we're not getting enough calories to feel good. So these can cause issues when we're under eating, which again is one of the top reasons people struggle, is they're just not eating enough. And we're not talking about overeating. We're talking about eating an appropriate amount of calories for our bodies. And that involves just the basic needs for your bodies, which is your BMR. I like to call it your bare minimum requirement. But most people are trying to eat just their BMR, which is ridiculous in my opinion, because we need more than that. We need to compensate for working, exercise, chasing kids, running errands, folding laundry, sweeping the floor. Like, all of these things take more calories than what our body basic needs. So we need to eat more, and usually, like I said, that's 500 to even over 1,000 calories depending on how much exercise that you have in the day. So you're gonna need to eat more calories than your BMR for sure. Francesca says, have you worked with people who have been on laxatives for 25 years, even natural ones, and can't have normal bowel movements? How can one restore paralyzed peristalsis? Sorry for the intense question. That is an intense question. Woo! That's a tough one. I have worked with some people. I wouldn't say that have been doing it for 25 years. That's a very long time for the body to become habituated to laxatives. What I would suggest is extremely slowly weaning down. So I'll just use this as an example. I'm not saying that this is the amount that people eat, but of like supplements or herbs. But say you're taking 4 capsules of senna leaf, for example. Maybe do 4 or 3 and like 3/4 of a capsule for like a week. And then do 3 1/2 for a week or 2. And then do 3 1/4 for a week or 2. And then do 3. And see how the body reacts to that. Now, this may require other interventions as well, maybe talking with a naturopath to help with that, or a homeopathic doctor to help support the natural peristalsis as you're weaning off the laxatives. The microbiome is probably way out of balance. So doing like a microbiome test to see where your starting point is, and slowly adding different fibers to help with that. They say, I'm off the laxative, but food doesn't move through me. So yeah, that's a problem, because if you're not on the laxatives, your body, like you said, paralysis of the peristalsis, your body's just not doing it because it's not used to doing it. It's never had to do it on its own. It's always had a stimulant that stimulates that to happen. So that's a tough one. That's a really, really hard one. Maybe if you're off the laxatives, maybe having just a small amount, and find where that is for you. Another thing to do is, I'm not sure if you've tried magnesium, but magnesium can help to relax the colon muscles to help bowels move through. So magnesium is probably the most gentle of the laxative effects. It's a mineral. So it's not a stimulating herb. What it does is, it doesn't, like an herb is going to stimulate and make it happen. Whereas with the magnesium, it relaxes. Magnesium is our relaxing mineral. Calcium is our tightening mineral. And magnesium is our relaxing mineral. So when you have more magnesium in your diet, which 97 or more percentage of people are already deficient in, or I would say anyways, it's going to relax the colon muscles so things can move a little slower. If you're really tense, that can cause that, like the tension as well. So maybe try the magnesium, or have like a very, very, very small amount of the laxative to see how that helps. And then slowly, as your body learns to do it itself, you could probably wean off that again. I hope that magnesium can help a little. I would, yeah, definitely. Would fiber make it worse? I personally don't believe fiber makes it worse, because we need that bulk to move through. Chewing is going to be probably your best option when you're eating more fiber-rich foods. Chew your foods thoroughly. It should be like a smoothie before you swallow it, right? So chew your food really well, and that can help too. But I don't think that high fiber is a bad thing. It's going to feed your microbiome, which in turn can help. But the magnesium, I think, in combination is going to be really good. When there's emotional stress from trauma that is about to be healing thanks to the cleaning from the raw foods, I am subscribing to that certain nerves reparations that got damaged by intoxication. I'm not sure what that was referring to, but yeah, there is a lot of emotional stress and emotional upheaval that comes in. And a lot of times, remember, another sign of undereating is emotional turmoil or emotional instability, mood swings. These are all indications that a person isn't eating enough. Yes, it can be the change of identity, the change of your life, you know, things like that do come up, and that is definitely a valid sensation that we get when we change our diet. But also remember, there are physiological things that happen if you don't eat enough. Mood swings and emotional instability are two very, very, very big ones when it comes to diet. If you're not eating enough, that can happen as well. So just keep it in mind. Again, like I said, it does come with the change, the identity change, the shift. You're eating cleaner foods, you're feeling things a little bit more, you're not all overstimulated, right? Where you're not feeling things as deep. When you get rid of all those stimulants, yes, you are going to feel things a lot deeper. Most people do when they go raw, and that is like an emotional cleansing. But remember to not brush it aside as fully detox. If you are not eating enough, sometimes that can cause emotional stuff too. So keep that in mind. Thank you for sharing that. Francesca also says, what about osteoporosis? Do you think that can be reversed with raw foods? I think there's a lot of other things that come into play with osteoporosis. Number one, weight training and walking with a weighted vest are going to be key for keeping bone density strong and for even potentially building bone density. I have heard people who don't even change their diet who have increased or come out of a pre-osteoporosis state simply by doing weight lifting and weight training, walking with a weighted vest. Because what happens is you put that tension on your muscles, that weight on your muscles, and it stimulates your bones to build and get stronger. And what is osteoporosis? It's weak bones. So adding weight training is very, very important. If you're trying to prevent or reverse, I don't want to say it's 100% possible, but if you're attempting to reverse or prevent osteoporosis, weight training is going to be top, number one thing that you can do. Yes, the raw foods are amazing for that, especially if you're including lots of greens and vegetables. Super important. Yes, there's a little calcium in fruits for sure, but the main amount that you're going to get is from your greens, from your vegetables, from your sprouts, from your microgreens and that kind of stuff. Calcium is very rich in those, and we do need calcium. Another thing that is very important for bone and dental health is vitamin K2. So you can take a supplement if you want, but Nate and I, we get our K2 from freeze-dried natto. Natto is a fermented soy product that is very popular in Asian cultures. It's kind of slimy, and I'm not a fan of it in its like fermented state raw. I like the freeze-dried one because I can add it to dressings, but it's it's one of the highest sources of vitamin K2, which is essential for the formation of bone and for bone strength and dental health. So K2 is really important. If you want to link to the vitamin or the natto powder, which is basically a living food that's been freeze-dried and ground into a powder. So it's like, I consider it totally cool on a raw diet. If you're looking for that K2, that's a really awesome option, or you can take a supplement, a vegan one, obviously, because we have some like animal product stuff in some of them, but yes. How long should I walk for? It depends. You want to start slow. They usually recommend you start with 5 to 10 pounds of weight on you when you start out. Like a weighted vest or a backpack with a weight in there, whatever you can tolerate. Start with like 10 minutes a day, work up to 20 minutes a day. Nate and I walk for anywhere, I know this is ridiculous, not everyone can do this, but Nate and I walk for anywhere from 1 to 3 hours most days, if not every day. Sometimes we're going every day. In June, I walked anywhere from 2 to 3 hours a day, every day for the 30 days of June. And my bone density has remained stable. It's in the healthy range, obviously, but most women are losing bone density every year. And when you test for the bone density, you get to see over time with a DEXA scan or with a bone density test from your doctor, you can see the change in the bone density every year. Women, especially in perimenopause and menopause, we're losing a lot more bone density than we can necessarily gain unless you're doing weight training, unless you're walking with a weighted vest, unless you're putting tension on your bones. Then they're just going to get weaker as we age. It's just something that happens. And no amount of calcium is going to grow the bone. You have to put tension on it, just like muscles. You know, you can eat all the protein you want, the bro science, like, you know, all this protein. But if you're not working out in the gym, that protein's not going to be as essential, like, or, you know, used to build muscle. You have to put your muscles under tension, just like you have to put your bones under tension to grow your bone density. So great questions, guys. I love it. I love it. If you have any more, please post in the chat. If not, please go check out the plant-based bundle. If you're enjoying this live, if you love the content that I share, if you've learned something, if you want to support us, and if you want to support yourself, go grab the bundle. The link is in my bio. If you're watching on YouTube, the link is in the description box below. This is our big Black Friday sale. You're getting almost $900 of content. The wrap book, the soup book, the taco book, Tales from the Tailgate, sushi, our video courses. You're getting 12 things from us for $50. Again, valued at almost $900. Plus you're getting stuff from other people too. Chef Babette and Brian Turner. Eat, Move, Rest has stuff in there. Jillian Berry has stuff in there. There's a lot of content in this bundle, and you get access to all of it for $50. That's it. Again, link in bio or in the description box below. And if you didn't want to get the bundle, you can still get 60% off our ebooks. Both of those sales are running until December 7th, so you have time to go grab those. If you want the link to our ebooks, send me a direct message here on Instagram or head on down to the link in the description box below if you're on YouTube. The code is RAWFOOD60 at checkout. That'll get you 60% off any of our 28 ebooks. We have 28 ebooks right now, with more coming in 2026. I'm really excited. We also have a video a day coming out on YouTube. So if you're interested in that, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Lissa's Raw Food Romance. We've got daily videos coming out until the end of the year. This is for Vlogmas. Vlogmas is a video a day for the entire month of December. It's like Christmas vlog style. It's like the 30 days of Christmas, but vlogs. So I have filmed those, and they are all scheduled to release every single day until the end of the year. So again, follow me over on YouTube if you want to watch those videos. Today's video was all about my skincare routines. I share about how I do my skincare, the morning pre-walk, the post-walk, and the evening routines that I do, and I use Osea Malibu, and they have a gifting sale, so if you spend X amount of money with Osea, they send you free gifts. So if you want to get some free gifts with your order, that is going until December 1st. So you might want to get in that if you're interested in Osea. send me a DM. Again, if you want to DM to any of the links, or if you have any questions, please feel free to send me a direct message. I am more than happy to chat and hang out and brainstorm with you and offer ideas and suggestions and all that good stuff. So thank you so much for joining me for this live. I love you all so much. Thank you for your participation and for asking the questions. You asked some really great questions today. And if you want further questions answered, again, send me a DM. More than happy to help. But yeah, check out the bundle, link in my bio or in the description box below, and send me a message if you want any of the other links. Yeah, so I guess we'll sign off now if there aren't any other questions. Thank you for joining. I loved hanging out with you today. And we'll see you next time. Tomorrow, there'll be a video on YouTube. Actually, what is the video coming out tomorrow on YouTube? Here, let's just see. We've got so many topics coming on YouTube. Like I said, I filmed 44 videos and they're all scheduled to come up in the next, until the end of the year. So let's see, what do we have tomorrow? Today's video, again, is my full skincare thing. We also, yesterday was my top 5 non-negotiables, so that video is available. And tomorrow's is the different fears that stop us from thriving and becoming better. So if you want to watch that, join me over on YouTube, and we will be back for another live soon. I love you all so much, and fruit on.